Welcome back. We had some questions we were answering about the Arcane Trickster and the Dragonborn. So, for the record, Dragonborn has correct stats. We did look into it, as far as I can tell. which I think, since I was looking in the rulebook, is pretty close to accurate. Awesome. Yeah. So, what is it? It's getting close to the evening of July 18th, and Varani, give me a perception check, please.
That's not plus.
7. Okay. So like you end up tripping over like a shrub on the ground, sort of in this path that's a little clearer. You don't actually fall, but you sort of catch your foot on it, and you look down at it, and it looks like this shrub was not rooted here, and it almost looks like there are sort of parts of it that are stretched out like limbs.
All right, so I call everyone else to hold. Like, guys, look down.
When
Does
is
that
this
seem
while
right to you?
is this while we're traveling, or?
Yeah, as you're traveling, you stumble across this sort of like wide swath of ground that's all like trampled down, and there's a large number of hoof prints all over the ground here. And there's this shrub in the middle of it that's like sort of broken and trampled looking, but it also doesn't look like it was rooted in anything. And it's got these sort of outstretched fronds that look almost like limbs.
So. Good. Go.
I'm going to go ahead and slowly slide both of my swords out, kind of hold them at my side, and look over and say, I do not have a good feeling about this.
Friend,
And
I
then
don't
I'm just
remember the
gonna-
last time I had a good feeling about anything. I like to look around. So, does it look like to me, my guess is that this thing is a dead monster, and that the hoofed things could have been like knights riding horses or something that fought it, and now it's dead and they ran off? Like, do the tracks go away, or?
It sounds like you're trying to like do a nature check and figure out like the identity of these hoof prints.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it would be. I guess whatever you'd use for like tracking or yeah. Is that nature?
Yeah, I think like the act of following tracks would be survival, but the act of identifying
Sure.
what the tracks
trying to,
are would
yeah,
be
trying
nature.
to CSI this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Or investigation. You can either use investigation to sort of determine what's happened, or you can use nature to determine the type of tracks they are.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to determine, kind of what happened
Cool.
here. Yeah, and so, when I look at the footprints and stuff, and I'm like, well, whatever it was that was here, it looks like they, and I pull out my sunglasses, I put them on, hoofed it.
Cool.
All right, I got a 9.
Okay. Like it's a little bit unclear. Like there's this one sort of like shrub creature. Sort of investigating it. It really does look like some sort of dead, broken shrub plant creature. Like you see a couple splotches of blood on the ground a ways back. And then sort of a ways down, sort of like this path was like coming from left to right across your vision. A ways down the path in the direction that these animals seem to be going, there's like 2 or 3 other plant creatures all trampled together down that way.
Steven, is there any visible loot in anywhere around us? Do we see bodies with armor on? Do we see...
Give
No,
me
I'm asking. I'm
Yeah,
asking this because they would have. If someone was done with the battle, all this stuff would have been taken.
Right.
So do we clearly see anything?
give me a perception test.
Roll skill and then my -1.
That sounds accurate.
Okay, +1. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I have it as a spec. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you're proficient. 10. Okay, you sort of look around, you sort of wander up and down this track for a little bit. You don't see any valuables sitting around.
I would like to investigate how old the blood is.
Yeah, okay. Are you doing an investigation test as well?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, give me a roll with your investigation skill. Damn. Okay, so like you're looking at this blood. It's a little bit too dark to be human blood, so it seems like, you know, without applying your nature skill, you can't readily identify it. But it doesn't seem like there were humans involved in this battle that has taken place. There's like a couple of splotches of blood. It looks like they come from the north east along the track. So like there's sort of a trail of blood dripping back in that direction.
How old is the blood? Like, has it been there for a while? Or?
No, it's like 6 hours old, something
Still
like that.
warm.
Wait, so there's
Damn.
so there's blood in one direction, but there's another way we can go where there isn't blood?
Yeah, so you guys were heading to the northwest. So I
Right.
can actually, I'm going to draw this just a little bit down below the picture that's here.
Yeah, like some hoofed creatures, probably centaurs, had a fight with some shambling plant dudes, and then
Yeah.
the centaurs won, but they were injured and left.
Right.
Yeah, you guys were heading this direction, and there's a trail that's heading from your left to your right in this direction. So there's more blood down this way. And then there's a little bit less, but still some up this way.
Cool blood.
Yeah, I think that makes it very clear. Everybody knows what's going on.
My roll 20 is like freaking out, so I see like 3,000 arrows.
Wow, that's
There's
dramatic.
just like so many arrows.
Zoe, why
Good
don't
direct-
you give me a nature check to see if you'd recognize the tracks here?
Nature.
14. That's quite solid, especially for a druid. Now, if audience, you were paying attention to Being Everything Else on Friday, you would know that according to fictional positioning, maybe that a druid didn't even need to make a roll for that. But we're playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. You identify these as they are the huge hoof prints of elks.
Oh, elk prints.
Each elk print is like 3 feet across. So like the ground here is just churned into like a muddy swath, but like there are some huge elks and probably a large herd of elks that walked through here and suffered some kind of damage at the hands of something. And in the course of their travels, they trampled a couple of these plant creatures.
Steven, how wide are these paths?
Probably like 30 feet across, winding its way through the forest and trees.
Is everybody saying this information? Do we all have this same information?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I
openly
would've shared
communicate, yeah.
one. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
So I'm watching everybody sort of investigate on their own. And I'm like, okay, well, does it not make sense to figure out where that stuff went and then not go that way?
In my
Is
considered
that what we're
opinion,
doing right now?
In my considered opinion, there are many things that might cure us of what we are diseased with. Elks are not among them. And I
like the way you
we were
think.
going. I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
I
know
agree. I
and
second
say
this.
he's a doctor, so we should trust him, right?
Sheldrick had already begun walking to the northwest. He was almost out of sight at this
Didn't
point.
even care for us.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Evening comes and you guys make camp, and yeah. Are the watches going to be the same this evening?
I think so.
Felt like
I'll
that
go
went
first,
well.
sure.
Okay. So while you all are making camp, Zoe, give me a discovery roll. Okay, good. That goes uneventfully over that course of that evening. And then make a discovery roll for your watch. Good. So Sheldrick and Varani, your watch goes uneventfully over the evening. It seems like overnight, actually, the air warms up a bit, and clouds clear, and you can see the stars shining brightly overhead. Grigori, no, not Grigori,
Yes.
but Lucas, rather, make a discovery roll.
This guy. Okay.
Okay, good.
Oh, phew.
So,
Oh shit! So close.
wow, there's a little bit of tension there. Lucas and Grigori, your 2 watches go uneventfully as well. Zoe, would you like to frame a scene for Varani this evening?
Yes, I would. It's actually a flashback.
Okay, great.
So yeah, whilst I'm sitting there, like staring into the fire during my watch, kind of listening to the other people sleeping, eyeing Lucas, suspicious as I am, wondering what that person is up to. But then I kind of think back to like the last few, was it 23 days I had in my cave? And I'm starting to mutter to myself in like Druidic. That's the language, right? Yeah. Right. And like I just like continue to repeat like the same phrase over and over and over again, and thinking back to that cave where I did exactly the same thing. It's like almost like putting myself into a trance, where I'm just like rocking myself back and forth, like staring intensely at one point, and just mutter the same sentence over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Does the sentence have what is it called? Translation text?
No.
Or is it left?
No subtitles.
It's left
no
ambiguous.
subtitles.
No subtitles. Okay.
Yeah, no subtitles.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my flashback. So you
Does anybody have a question for Varani about this?
We're all asleep, yeah?
Yeah,
Well,
so,
like-
I mean, I do, because I want to know more about this action. So, were you, like, do your people have, like, a druidic tradition, or is that, like, a thing that you did alone? Like, were you taught to be a druid by, like, the high druid or something, or were you like, I'm going to go be a druid, see you later?
No, that was kind of my own decision. I abandoned my home and my people and everything to do with my culture, and went to live a hermit life.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
Oh, great! Lost all my money in a cave. I don't know how that happened.
All right, so you're feeling a little bitter about it?
Yeah, no, like there has been times where I felt like I'm doing the right thing, but then some stuff happened. And
so what's the thing you miss the most from your clan? Like you gave everything up. What's the one thing that you miss from your people?
It's probably just the acceptance of like being a dragonborn, because I mean Virascali isn't really like swarming with my people, so I get eyed everywhere I go. Can't talk to animals, can't talk to people, can't talk to no one. They're all kind of just scared of me, so makes me more lonely than I thought I would be.
So no, Dodger, I was going to say that like you as Dodger can ask Varani questions in this as well, just like Adam was.
Okay. Did you decide to live alone as sort of a spiritual journey for yourself, or did you decide to do it because something happened?
It was something happening, and though on my journey of loneliness, I actually kind of got into the whole spiritual stuff in some way. So I kind of found myself and other things on that trip.
Gotcha.
Cool. Okay, so Varani, you would get inspiration, but you already have it, so you don't re-get it. But if you had spent it, you would have gained it again. And since Grigori already has inspiration, I think we should give it to Lucas.
All right.
Sick.
Awesome. So, and then our next scene will be framed by Lucas. Very cool. Okay. So yeah, dawn comes early. It's a clear day. It's quite warm. It's been 2 days that you've been traveling. Now, Grigori, you know, as someone who's like familiar with walking the wilds, that if you want to find a location, then just like picking a direction and marching in that direction is unlikely to secure your discovery.
We're just gonna keep walking until we come back around to Virascali again.
Yeah, exactly.
There was literally nothing in the whole world that whole way. Weird.
But what you can do is you can search the general area for a while. You can spend watches just searching.
And that was the plan. Like I wanted to get to the point where we had been going in that direction accurately for the amount of time that Chaldrick said, so for 2 days. And then once we get to about that area, be like, okay, so now we're going to start wandering the hex looking for this particular place. Because, the world's a big place. It might take us some time. It's not like it takes up the whole area.
Yeah.
We're not looking for a giant tower we could see in the distance. So
Awesome. Okay, cool. So go ahead and give me a survival check.
okay, I will do that. 21.
21, fantastic. Okay, so you lead the group through the wilds accurately in the general area, sort of searching for what you're trying to find. Who's our scout? Varani, make a perception test. Ooh, okay, cool. And Varani, make a discovery check. Okay, cool. Took me a little while to see that had been done. Okay, cool. Awesome, as they say. The first half of your day passes uneventfully, and you don't manage to discover anything of terrible importance in your searching through the nearby areas.
So are we still in the swampy woods like we were before, or have we cleared that area?
You've come out of the dense part of the woods, and now you're in sort of a lighter forest on the other side of that. But Grigori, from your survival check, like sort of where you camped, sort of the radius that you've been exploring, you feel very good about where you are. Yeah. So go ahead and give another survival test.
Okay.
Can I add something in for the first half of the day?
What's that?
Bam.
Can I add something in for the first half of the day?
Yeah, absolutely.
So throughout the first half of the day, the pretty much entire time, Chaldrick has had this strange kind of look, and he's been kind of staring at Zoe. Like, kind of keeping an eye on her mouth and just kind of looking, like seeing what's going on.
Yeah. Did you, see some of her muttering last night?
That's kind of, yes. That's pretty much it. I kind of got up at the end of it and noticed that she was kind of rocking back and forth and talking. And the entire day, I've just been kind of looking at her.
Got it. Cool. Varani, do you notice this?
I do not, but he will actually see me mutter again.
As you're walking?
As I'm walking, always a little bit away from the group, few, healthy steps. Yeah, but I do not notice him watching me doing so.
Got it. Roll a perception test, Varani. Okay, cool. So late in the day, in the afternoon, Varani, you come across a set of tracks that appear to just be a couple of moccasined feet that are wandering through along a deer trail, sort of off in the southern direction, I think. What do you do?
I'm making a sign for everyone to halt and then pointing in the direction. Mm-hmm. Looking at them questioningly.
Mm-hmm. Give me a nature roll. Yeah, okay. They're made by people wearing moccasins, but outside of that, you can't identify anything more about them.
Listen, unless we come across a big-ass sign that says, leprosy cure this way, I don't want to hear about it.
I was just going to say, what's the holdup?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Come on.
Are we doing a thing? What's
Alright, I guess we just continue.
Okay.
I assume Chaldrick already went ahead anyway, so we're just trailing behind again. Yeah, he's gone.
What order are we in? I kind of assumed that I'm at the back, but are we traveling in a line?
I think we're out in the open, so we're probably spread
just
out.
kind of
kind of in a
whatever.
cluster rather than in a line. Okay, yeah, the sun begins setting, and sort of Grigori, are you sort of taking people in concentric circles and sort of circling this place, or what?
I've divided the area into quadrants, and we're searching each quadrant. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm looking for. What are we actually looking for? Is it a town or
It's the elven village of Flaterhind, right?
Yes. So, okay. So if it's a village, then maybe these tracks are actually worth following because they might lead to or from the village. So I guess at that point we'll look and say, okay, do we want to go, like, which direction are the tracks going? And we'll start there, I guess.
Okay, quick question. When we saw the footprints, how many days it had been at that point of traveling?
You had traveled for 2 days, and then you'd spent most of the third day sort of searching the nearby area.
Okay.
And
So that
there's
was
no-
basically the first sign of civilization we saw after being at the approximate distance of the Elvish town.
That seems accurate to me.
Can I, since we're like standing around just discussing these footprints, can I also do a nature check?
Yeah, sure. What are you looking for?
Just to see, I guess if I can tell how old they are.
Yeah, great. Give me the better of either your nature or your survival.
Okay.
Is that a cat paw in the background?
Huh?
It's like, I don't know.
So it's a D20 plus my modifier, right?
Yes. Damn. Yeah, absolutely. These tracks are about a day and a half old.
Can you
These
tell
tracks
which
are about a
direction?
day and a half old.
Okay, well, hold on. So is there any like is there high ground around here anywhere? Like if the terrain slopes up, I'd like to get to somewhere high so we can maybe like see an area. And what was the name of this place again?
Flaterhind.
All right, I'd like to be out from you and your German. I'd like to be out from under the canopy of the trees then, Stephen.
I think the
Wait,
easiest way to get
we're looking for high terrain.
the easiest way to get out from under the canopy of trees, Adam, is to
I know.
climb a tree.
Awesome.
All right.
And I will look to Sheldrick and be like, we need a better view. Point
Cool.
to a tree.
Yeah.
I'll give it a
Like
try.
a small one.
All right, Sheldrick, give me a climb check. I guess that's an athletics check in 5th ed. Nice. Okay, so Sheldrick, it takes you like half an hour to climb this damn tree. Like, you
yes.
you have to like first you climb it with all your stuff on your back. You get up to like the first branch and it just breaks and drops you on your back from like 2 feet off the ground or something like that. And then you like take all your stuff off and try climbing it like, without a shirt on. It like scratches up your chest as you fall
Well,
off.
now
so-
I'm paying attention.
it's a really frustrating climb, but eventually everybody sort of like hoists your butt up to like the second branch off the ground. You make your way to the top of the trees, and the light blinds you as you come out of the canopy too fast. My eyes. Maldrick is sitting back, sort of on your shoulder, just throwing shit on you, like, you should have gone around the tree the other way, brother. Yeah. Finally, once your eyes adjust to the evening dimming light, you look across the canopy nearby. Give me a perception test.
Do you have inspiration? Never mind.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Never mind. Yeah, okay, like you sort of survey the area, you do like a 360-degree pan, and you see a sort of like smoke from cook fires coming up to the northwest.
Okay, so further down the path we were going.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to make my way back down the tree gracefully, and then when I get to the ground, let everyone know what's going on. There's a town. How far does it look about?
It's like 500 meters or something like that.
Okay.
It's fairly nearby.
So I'm going to get down and
what
tell
time
everyone it
was
looks
it?
like.
It's like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., something like that.
So yeah, just basically say it looks like our town's about just a little bit up the road to the northwest, the same direction we're going.
Good. All right. And then I pause and I look at the rest of the party. Does anyone speak Elvish?
Nope.
No? No one? All right. Okay, well, I guess we'll head that way. It's fine.
Yeah.
Gotta do.
Lucas, incidentally, when you did your survival check on the tracks, you noticed that like only one of the sets of footprints was like that day and a half old, and the others were all much older.
Okay. So I would say that like while Shaldrick is, doing his thing, I sort of take the time to look at the footprints a bit more and say, a lot of these footprints look a lot older, but somebody's definitely walked through here recently, like within the last day or so.
So
I don't know that this is a very high traffic area.
It doesn't look high traffic, but someone has been along here regularly.
Right.
So Shaldrick kind of looks at Lucas and says, "Is it the same person at different times? The same foot?"
The shoes are definitely similar.
Looking closely, actually, Lucas, you can determine that all of the tracks are exactly the same size.
In fact, I think they're the same size.
Little known
God.
fact, all elves wear the same size shoes. It cuts down on manufacturing
Mostly
costs.
just one guy. So when Shaldrick comes down and is like, "Hey, there's fire that way," I think there's definitely a question there of whether or not it's an actual place that we're looking for or just one dude who's doing something.
The tracks that you're examining here, the most recent ones lead away from the direction that Shaldrick is pointing.
Cool.
Well,
All right.
I would
So
say
you
we
guys
heard
onward.
the tracks right.
Tally ho.
Yeah, cool. Okay, you venture through the forest for another 20 minutes or whatever, however long it takes you to go 500 meters. And eventually, sort of the forest sort of thins out to just large stands of trees. And it begins looking like the forest floor is sort of maintained, like brushes are trimmed back, or plants that are maybe more decorative are growing and twining themselves up trees. You approach in the twilight, and so as you approach, you see twinkling through the trees the gentle pale blue lights of candles burning through from the branches of some of the trees nearby. And looking more closely, you can see that a number of the trees have even been hollowed out, and there are sort of ornately carved windows that open into some of these very large tree trunks. As you approach sort of a clearing in the forest floor under the canopy, a couple of elves walk out from nearby trees and approach you. They're all wearing strong leather jerkins, and they have a set of almost composite bows that are built out of wood and bone, with a series of wicked looking arrows, and two of them, so there's probably four of these people approaching. Two of them have their bows slung and their quivers on their backs, but two of them actually have their bows out strung with a wicked looking barbed arrow. But they're not pointing them at you. They sort of have them pointed down to the side. It looks more like they're approaching very warily. And one of them speaks as he approaches. It's a tall man, very fair of face, jet black hair that's pulled back into a single braid. He says, he barks something at you in Elvish. But then when you don't respond, he actually switches to Common. He says, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
Shaldrick kind of puts his hands up.
I'm not gonna surrender, but I'm gonna make a point to we're not going for our weapons, and I'm gonna kind of look at Shaldrick and Varani and be like, let's let Lucas do the talking here, and then I'll look at Lucas
hello, we are on a journey to discuss with you a thing we need.
I immediately regret my decision.
What's your charisma there,
My
Lucas?
charisma's pretty high.
Yeah.
Better
So
be.
even though
as Dodger, I'm trying to remember what it is that we're looking for. we
Treasure dog.
Well, we're looking for a recipe specifically, right? Or
yeah, you're looking for
The only thing we've told Dodger's character so far is treasure, unless she overheard us talking about leprosy.
yeah, I
okay.
don't.
Yep,
I
yep,
mean,
sure.
I've kind of assumed that you guys are sick, but you haven't told me that you're sick, right?
So Lucas
Speaking
is
of-
just hi, we're looking for treasure.
Yeah, that's not what I would say either.
Okay, how do you put this to them? Are you I'm guessing you're trying to use some kind of persuasion to sort of schmooze your way in, diffuse the situation.
Right.
Why don't you give me a persuade roll, and then we'll figure out what you're saying based on the results.
Okay.
That warlock charm.
Oh God. Please. Ah.
What was that? 21. Yeah. So like, what is the explanation?
We'd love to talk with you. My companions here have been looking for this place for a very, very long time. They would love to speak with someone about some items they're looking into, finding some information, things of that nature. I'm just a friend. I'm just here, to support them, but I can vouch for them. They are lovely, wonderful people. They will cause you no problems at all.
Oh, well, that's a really impressive speech that you've delivered, Lucas. The elf, the tall elf, fair face, dark hair, he sort of stops up short, holds up his hand, and the two elves that are sort of flanking him sort of relax their bowstrings a little bit. And he says, "You've been looking for this place for a long time? Is that true?"